Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I want to talk about Teferi, everybody's favorite time manipulating, phasing planeswalker. But before there was Teferi, there was another card that is Teferi, but not quite Teferi yet. And Teferi has a weird menagerie of little friends and allies, little cards along the way that represent him, specifically with his name on them, in Magic the Gathering's history. And today I thought I'd talk about them. I'm not sure what got me thinking about this. I just saw something recently. I saw pictures of Teferi. Maybe it was a lore video I watched. And I just thought he's a really cool character. He's long running. He's been in Magic's history a long time. He's done different things. He was a planeswalker, lost his spark, came back as a planeswalker. And he was a pivotal character in progressing the game story along. Uh, let's just go ahead and get right into it. First on the list, we got ourselves Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, because there's really nowhere else you can start. I believe this was the second time he was ever represented as a Planeswalker. I think the first time was a blue version. He was mono blue, but a commander deck only, where he can be your commander. So here he is, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I'm sure you all know what this does by now. There's even an alchemy arena only version of him. I think that the mana cost is adjusted, the loyalty ticks are adjusted, and maybe he starts with less loyalty. He was pretty powerful. That's why they nerfed him in an alchemy version or something like that. I'm not a fan of alchemy. I don't even really a fan of arena. But overall, this is a great card. I remember when this came out in 2018. So very cool, very powerful, and it's still sees play. Seen play this day. It still sees play to this day on arena. I can't stand when I come up against it, but it's just pretty cool just seeing him around. Great art, great style, extremely powerful ability. Draw cards, untapping, uh, protects you from your opponent's stuff. People would find ways to have two copies of Teferi, have one Teferi on the board, use its ability, play another Teferi, sack the other one, use his ability again. It's nonstop. It's crazy. It's powerful. Next on the list, we got ourselves, guess what? Another Teferi. It's Teferi, but not Teferi, but it is Teferi. So, Disruptive Student, 3 mana. He counters a spell unless they pay 1. Teferi is a problem student, always late for class, no appreciation for constructive use of time by Baron. Progress report. So, Baron was a master wizard in Magic's history. This is Teferi when he was a young lad. You see him just being a pain in the ass, knocking books off the shelf. I believe that's Urza's Saga. This is the first time he was represented on a card, but not legendary. I mean, you could pretty much infer that it's him because he's to my coming to mind. I think he's the only black planeswalker, and here he's a person of color and this manipulating magic here. So here he is being a pain in the ass, knocking stuff off the shelf. But I will say, like, there's an interesting juxtaposition, and we've definitely made progress in the game's art style. Look at Teferi then versus Teferi now. This is definitely a lot more pleasing, a lot more fulfilling. It's a lot more flattering than this. This is very, like, I don't want to call it cartoony. It's kind of like a comic book. But I don't know. This is much more polished, much more interesting. This is Teferi all grown up. This is Teferi drawn poorly and really kind of disservice to what he would become. Anyway, next on the list, we got ourselves Teferi, Mage of Zalfir. This is when he was a creature before he became a planeswalker. Actually, a legendary creature, but not a planeswalker. You get the idea. So in the Magic story, he gave up his spark to save Dominaria. I believe that's the story. If that's not correct, or if that's too simple or incorrect version in the comments, do let me know. Um, Basically, it gives everything flash. It's a very Teferi on point ability. Creature cards you own that are on the battlefield have flash. Each opponent can cast spells only time they can cast a sorcery. So basically, your opponent doesn't have flash. You have flash. Teferi has flash. Everybody's flashing. Get flashed. I don't know. Next on the list, we got ourselves Teferi, Master of Time. Very poignant, very Teferi. Very Teferi. 4 mana, 3 loyalty. Draw cards, discard cards. Stuff phases out. Take 2 extra turns. You can activate loyalty abilities with Teferi on any player's turn, anytime you can cast an instant, which is pretty powerful. Do it on your turn, and then your opponent's turn. It's your turn again. Do it again. He starts off with only 3, so it will take you a little while, and only has 1 uptick on his loyalty. But you can proliferate. You can find ways to manipulate that. Take those extra turns. I just find this version of Teferi really interesting, really cool. I believe there's multiple different versions of this art where the background is slightly varied and different. There's no two same backgrounds. If you look at the number on the bottom left, I think there's several copies of this. from what I recall. But pretty cool. Let me know in the comments if you run this and in the 99 of any of your commander builds or other decks you run. Next on the list, I thought I'd include an alchemy card just for fun because it's very Teferi. And I love his face. He's like off with one hand, I guess it's his right hand, messing with magic, looking at that ball, be like, no, fuck that, I ain't doing that, no. And then basically counter target spell. Each card in its controller's graveyard hand and its library with the same name as that spell perpetually costs 2 more to cast. So it's like, fuck that card, and fuck every other card named after it. And I think it's a very Teferi ability, very Teferi again. I should ring a bell every time I say that. Uh, this one would only work in alchemy. It would be annoying to track in paper. So there's that. And it's a good thing it's only on alchemy. Next on the list, we got ourselves Teferi's Curse from Mirage. 2 mana. You can put on an artifact or creature. Enchanted permanent gains phasing. You can put this on your opponent's stuff, put it on your stuff. But really, the thing here is just the art. Like I can't tell what this chubby dude is doing. If he's like, oh look, a goat. If you have a spear, just kill the goat. And is he about to phase out with the white sheet thing behind him? I'm not really sure. Or is the goat phased out and he's phased in? I can't really tell. And maybe that's the point and the purpose of the art style, but I think it's the green dude being phased out. He's being protected. He's the little goat thing here is being protected from the green dude by the white veil thing coming on over. Just something about old cards stylistically are just fun to look at, fun to collect. Let me know what you think. Moving on over, we got ourselves Teferi's Care. This is an interesting card. It's a 3 mana enchantment that destroys enchantments by sacking enchantments. So, and it counters an enchantment spell for 5 mana. Very expensive cost. It's not a lot of utility. If there's a way you can turn everything that's not in play into an enchantment, in addition to its other types, excuse me, you can counter every single spell. But it's kind of tricky. You can do this in an Enchanted Evening build. Enchanted Evening reads, all permanents in play are enchantments to the other types. So you can have this in play and just destroy enchantments left, right, and center. It turns lands into enchantments, creatures, planeswalkers. You can pretty much blow everything away. I love the art. I even borrowed it to use in the thumbnail for this video. So pretty cool. Again, invasion, uncommon. I learned how to play Magic in the invasion block, so there's that. Special set to me. Teferi's Drake. So these are fun. A lot of just really seeing this around got me thinking of Teferi more, and I was like, oh, these are fun. Teferi's got weird little critters and friends running around. Flying and phasing for 3 mana. 3/2, 3 mana, flying phasing. Chaff card, not a great card, but something about old art is just stylistically fun to collect. I got the little dude. You can see he's phasing out. His tail, as it wraps around the tree, it becomes transparent. So you can see the phasing as it's happening, which is just a great stylistic like art thing they got going on here. Again, something with these old cards it just doesn't. Newer cards just don't have it. Moving on over, a little bit different. Teferi's Honor Guard, 3 mana, 2/2, flanking. Let me know if you know what flanking does without reading this card in the comments. It's a knight. But what's interesting is 2 blue, it phases out. So, if it's a Teferi card, it's got to phase out, right? So flanking reads, whenever a creature without flanking is assigned to block this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/1 until end of turn. Flanking will probably never come back into Magic. It's kind of a weird, funky, janky ability. But it can be very annoying. It puts the blocking creatures at a disadvantage and shuts them right down. So there's that. That was the Visions block, by the way. Okay, this is my favorite on the list, Teferi's Imp. Who remembers that show, Pirates of Darkwater? This dude reminds me of the bird guy who always eats the melons, who could talk, who was part of the crew. Reminds me of that guy. Teferi's Imp, 3 mana, 1/1, phasing, flying. Phases out, choose and discard a card, phases in, draw a card. So every turn, every phase out, end of your turn, discard a card, phase in, draw a card. And basically, every start of every turn, you're going to draw another additional card, but you're going to be discarding a lot of stuff. It could be annoying. Give away recurring spells from your graveyard, Snapcaster Mage, or anything else. Discard stuff with Flashback, even stuff with Madness. There is utility for this. There's ways you can get spells back from your graveyard to your hand or on top of your library or something of that sort. But pretty fun card, pretty annoying card. Let me know what you think of this one. Moving on over, we got ourselves Teferi's Isle. Teferi's got his own house. Legendary land, phasing, and this might even be on the reserve list. This is from the Mirage block. Comes into play tapped, so you're a little limited at first. And then it has tap, add 2 blue mana. To my knowledge, at least that I could think of, I think this is one of the first few cards that lets you tap and add for 2. So there's that. Definitely a lot of fun. Very interesting. The fact that it phases out, really, you have to use it during your turn, or it's going to be useless. It's going to phase. And I just noticed the art print in the on the background, the text box. You can see like the leaves on the bottom has a nice texture to it. I never realized that with Mirage cards. Is that all Mirage cards or just this one? Anyway, a lot of fun, very interesting. This might even be worth like $10 or so. Do you have one of these? Let me know. Moving on over to Teferi's Moat, a 5-mana moat. This was time shifted. It originally came out in Invasion. Comes into play. Choose a color. Creature of the chosen color without flying can attack you. Uh, so Teferi, very Teferi, protects stuff. That's been his kind of his whole motif. He phases stuff out. He blinks it out. Removal. Creatures of the chosen color without flying can attack. So you can protect yourself. You can find a way to take away flying from all creatures in play. You can't be touched. I just found this. What I find funny about this card, these are the Phyrexians. They invaded Dominaria the first time in the invasion block, and like a moat is going to stop them. They can't just cross it. Like, aren't they just like undead machine zombies? They can't just make a zombie undead machine bridge and just cross it. So it's pretty lousy. I guess the Phyrexians can't swim, or maybe it's like a super special moat that they're allergic to. I don't know. It's fun. It's interesting. I love the art on this card yet again. Just the texture. You can like feel and see Teferi really well, and you can see like the way it's painted and drawn. It gets that 3D effect. You could feel like the Phyrexians are behind him, and it really pops. Moving on over to Teferi's protection. I think this is banned in Commander and Modern, maybe sort of. Somebody let me know. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. You exile this. So a pretty powerful card. That's why it has the exile drawback. But if you could find a way to recursion this, like put it on Isochron Scepter, Panoptic Mirror, I think that'll work with that. You can have this forever and just keep making yourself pretty much untouchable and piss off your opponents. Create a really unfun environment in Commander. Moving on over to Teferi's Puzzle Box. You want an unfun Commander card. You want to disrupt everybody's hand and their cards. You give this into play. Nobody's going to be happy. Maybe you won't. Nobody's going to keep. They're going to draw the God hand they need to succeed, and they're going to have to put it in the bottom of the library. Moving on over to Teferi's Realm, 3 mana. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses artifacts, creatures, lands, or global enchantments. I do not remember what global enchantments are. Somebody remind me. All cards of that type phase out. Pretty annoying. Each player's upkeeps, everybody gets a round to crack at this. They can choose artifacts, creatures, enchantments, lands, and just make everything phase out. Your opponents are going to lose everything. So that's a real pain in the rear ability, a very Teferi card. This one I included because really I love the art, but it's interesting that it destroys something. A lot of Teferi cards don't do that. This destroys a permanent if it's countered this way, and lets you draw. That's a very Teferi ability. There it is, I said it again. And I'm going to move on over. That's from the invasion block, by the way. Last but not least, Teferi's Veil, 2 mana enchantment. Pretty straightforward. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it phases out. We know what phasing does by now. Anyway, which of these cards is your favorite? Do you collect these cards? What do you think of Teferi? Again, I just want to circle back and really just Teferi now, Teferi then. I like Teferi now. Which version of Teferi is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.